So also, Coca-Cola was not the first soft drink company to utilize the modern image of Santa Claus in their advertising. It's a coincidence that Santa Claus has been traditionally depicted as wearing red and white. So it wasn't like Coke didn't make Santa red and white to suit Coke. Santa was already red and
And they
white.
were like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
And yeah, they were like, "Yes, please." So in that was in the 30s, and then in 1937, Charles W. Howard, who played Santa Claus in department stores, opened up the Charles W. Howard Santa School, the oldest Santa school in the world,
Wow.
to train Santa Clauses and
To
like
to like
send
go
them out
work
into
at
the
the
world.
malls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
So like that tradition started in the 30s, and like now there's Colorado-based
Like
societies of Santas
you
where
have
you
to go
can.
to college for this.
Yeah, you do, and
How
you
many
can like.
years? Like how long is the program?
I don't know exactly.
What does your GPA have to be in order to graduate?
I mean, I can't tell you because I didn't graduate from there. Unfortunately,
Well,
I'm not jolly enough to tell you.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be a pretty good Santa.
Thanks, man. I think that you'd be a pretty good Santa.
No, I'm bald.
Oh, so you'd be a pretty good elf. We could just put a hat on you.
Yeah, there
and
you
then-
go.
Yeah.
Be a really tall elf.
we'd be quite a pair at the mall, I think. See, that's the thing that these institutions could potentially be harmed by widespread ideologies that like Santa Claus is like an old tradition that like doesn't really help children or like rewards ignorance or something like that.
Yeah, I guess. But then, like, why are we setting up our businesses based on the upholding of lies, and specifically lying to children?
It's a very good question.
You know, like the fact that there's an economic investment in that, like enough and to
There's
enough of
always
an
been an
extent.
economic incentive for lying to children.
That's true. Yeah,
In
you're right.
in Christmas's particular case.
But like it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, so if we stop telling the lie of Santa Claus, if everybody got on board and we were all like, let's not do Santa anymore.
People would lose their jobs.
I
I
was just
think.
gonna say, probably like thousands and thousands of people would be out of work because of that.
It's a whole
It
industry.
is.
Yeah. So that's why I brought up that school, and that's why I brought up that like Colorado society. They're just like, hire elves from us, hire real experienced Santas from us. We got all the Santas, we got all the elves, we got Mrs. Clauses.
That was pretty great. We got tall Santas. We got short Santas.
We got fat Santas. We got skinny Santas. No, wait.
Santas of all denominations.
See, we got black Santas. We got white Santas.
We got Hispanic Santas.
Le Santa. Le Santos.
El Santos.
El Santos. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, and that's pretty much
The
that's
history of Santa?
yeah, so now there's more additions to the story. In 1937, a book was written called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and then Rudolph was added, and
Yeah.
that was so popular. Like that's what you got to do. You got to come up with like a new thing
New
that
character.
fits so well with the story, and then kids love it, and it takes off, and they buy the books, and it becomes part of the canon, and then you can sell chocolates based on it, and
Yep.
just creates more value. And you probably 30 years later you have the stop motion animation film that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer
Yeah.
cartoon, yeah.
Yeah, and then there were spin-offs and sequels from that, like Frosty the Snowman and
Mm-hmm.
Rudolph 2, and I think like the rest is history.
Yeah, I saw one recently. It was like another one of these claymation sort of Christmas special kind of things with a new character.
Nice.
And the new character was Predator.
What? Are you being serious?
You can look that shit up. There's like a
There's a claymation predator.
It's pretty short, but yeah, there's like a Predator cartoon, and there's like like elves and stuff trying to fight Predator, and
Oh my god.
Predator's just gonna become part of Christmas now.
I was just about to ask you, do you think that Santa has any room to evolve?
To evolve, just
Like-
in his own character.
In his own character or in his like world? Obviously Predator has to be
I
in
mean, there
there.
are different.
It's like a main adversary.
Yeah, there's different like evolved forms of Santa already. There's a Futurama Santa Claus, which is like the robot dude,
Yeah.
right? there's like, I don't know, there's versions of Santa who are like kick ass and they like, you know, have machine guns and muscle shirts and shit.
I know, but like it's like canon Santa. Do you think that canon Santa, like kind
Well,
of the
canon
Santa?
Santa by definition is just canon Santa. It's just, you know, you don't change that.
I'm saying that like canon used to be Saint Nicholas, and then it went. They tried to do something else with it, but
Yeah.
it kept on being Father, and then it transitioned into Father Christmas,
Right.
and then eventually got like reindeer and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and Rudolph and Frosty and Mrs.
So
Claus.
you actually-
these things are canon.
Yeah.
They're things that really stick
That
around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Time will tell. I think that it's very possible that Santa will eventually like grow some new appendages or some shit like that. Who knows, man? It's a crazy world.
Yeah, I think that Santa might be gender neutral in the future. They just get rid
That's
of Mrs.
actually
Claus.
not a bad theory.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it. If we're-
PC Santa.
Yeah. PC Santa with like, I don't know, his like Apple branded sleigh. Which is like
Apple branded.
Apple branded. It's like the I sleigh.
Ghost of Steve Jobs, you need to lead my sleigh tonight.
It'd be the
man.
ghost of Steve Jobs' Christmas past.
Oh man, didn't you say that like there was some Christians that were like very very against Christmas?
Oh, extremely, yeah. It's actually kind of surprising. Like if you go on YouTube and search like, actually I think what was the thing I searched the meaning of Christmas. That's what I searched, is the meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the results on even just the first page were people or Christians or pastors or whatever of different denominations giving speeches or like making blog posts or whatever, like basically saying like how bad Christmas is, like how bad it's become and how commercial it's become, and like these are all the reasons why we shouldn't celebrate Christmas as Christians. And then there's also even videos of people trying to like debunk all these arguments, because some of the arguments are absolutely ridiculous. Like you know, like so one of the main things that they're concerned that people are committing sins by engaging in pagan traditions. So like one guy, one video that I saw was a guy saying that by kneeling down to get a present from under the tree, you're worshiping the tree. You're bowing to the tree and worshiping the tree. Just by physically kneeling down.
They
and grabbing
did.
the
We
present.
did worship trees. Human
Well,
beings.
so this is the thing is, so pagans are written in the Bible to have carved idols out of trees,
Yeah.
and they worship trees. But that doesn't fucking mean that like by going and like getting on your knees and taking a present from under the tree that you're worshiping it,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's a
kind
bit of a stretch.
It's a weird thing to
I
say.
think.
It's like kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like fanaticism, I think, at that point.
Well, and apparently, like in Norse culture, they did worship the evergreen trees, but not like in that way, not even in a gift exchange way. I think the evergreen tree is a symbol of life through death. It's kind of like it follows this resurrection theme,
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
to
there's
Christmas
lots
because
of
it's
different-
green. It's green despite everything else being dead.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an amazing thing.
It is.
And then it's become like a permanent fixture decoration of this time, like multiculturally.
I mean, why not? It's a beautiful thing. Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to, you know, be so opposed to these sorts of things,
That's
whether
so
we're
funny.
religious or not?
And I'm beginning to like, after doing this research, I'm like, what's wrong with Saturnalia? Saturnalia seems like a great thing to celebrate.
Yeah.
Why not worship an evergreen tree? It's sweet.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different traditions too that these anti-Christians touch on. It's not just like the tree thing. Like, it's like, but basically, the general argument is pagans or some other like non-God worshipping group of people. Pagans did X, which is usually some kind of ritual or something like that, and Christian practice Y is similar to X, or thing that we do on Christmas Y is similar to X. Therefore, Y is evil. So
Yeah.
so you shouldn't do the things that are similar to things that you don't agree with, more or less, even if there are like significant differences and whatever. Like again, coming back to the tree thing, getting on your knees and giving, you know, getting a present from under the tree. What you're actually doing, like your mental volition in that position, is to like get the gift and give it to somebody and whatever, right? Like it's not like you're thinking in your mind like, oh, tree.
Oh, tree. Yeah, it's definitely, it's more about that sort of communally made
Yeah.
festival and like wanting to feel good, making other people feel good makes you feel good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I think that
There's less of a sinister or
Yeah.
like religious aspect to doing that.
they're so against the commercials, and I think a lot of people are. I mean, like, I'm certainly like, as you know, as a marketing guy and whatever with that background, I definitely seen like the dark side of commercialism plenty, and I'm definitely opposed to extreme commercialism and stuff like that. And Christmas does have a lot of extreme commercialism involved, but I don't think it's all extreme commercialism, and I don't think that like gift giving per se is a bad thing or like
Yeah,
just a
I
commercial
think that
thing.
they're separate. I think that gift giving is a thing that we do for ourselves during this season, like
Yeah.
as we've seen, and then capitalism as a system sort of sees that and says, "How can I make a buck in this environment?"
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are people who believe that it would be better to give money instead of giving gifts, just because with money you can always get something that you definitely really want,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is kind of like, I don't know, like an economic desensitizing of the tradition of giving gifts, because you don't necessarily give gifts just to like make sure the person gets something they want.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
give
mean?
gifts to be thoughtful and sort of demonstrate value in friendships.
Yeah, I think that argument that like, oh, it'd be better to give money, it just assumes that material possession is what makes the person that you're giving the gift to happy. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like, is it the gift that gives happiness, or is it the giver of the gift that provides some happiness? You know what I mean? Like the knowledge that someone is connected enough to you and cares enough and knows you well enough to go out and and find something that you actually like and buy it for you and wrap it up and give it to
Totally.
you, and you're like, oh man, like this, this means something.
I only get money for stuff if it's something that the person who gives me the gift can't buy, and even then, they would give you a coupon. Like for example, I'm getting somebody a gift that's basically like me paying for the gift, but I'm gonna like wrap it up and
Yeah.
I'm gonna like title it, and it's something that they really need. But basically, it's just paying for something.
Yeah.
It's like having like sort of like a bill of goods. You know?
So you think it is just like the economic function that sort of provides the demonstration of like love and care or whatever.
Well, no, I mean there is an economic aspect to it because you do have to go and get the gift, and then you have to deserve the gift in order to get it. So
Yeah, you
that's-
have to deserve it.
Yeah,
You gotta earn that shit.
exactly.
Being a good fucking friend.
So you'll always have to pay money for it or spend time on it in some way,
Yeah.
right? But
It's interesting actually. There are some statistics that I found surrounding what is called deadweight loss, and what deadweight loss is it is the overspending of people who buy gifts for other people based on what the people they're buying the gift for would
Yeah.
be willing to spend on the gift. So if I buy you,
Mhm.
if I buy you some headphones and I pay $100 for these headphones, and you get them and you like them and you're like, you're glad to have them or whatever, but in
Yeah,
your mind
I'm happy
you-
about it.
yeah, but in your mind you would have only spent $70 for those same headphones. Then the
Yeah.
deadweight loss is $30 for that.
You can jack up the prices around this time.
Well, you can, and people do. And the deadweight loss of overspending on Xmas gifts, Christmas gifts,
Yeah.
in the United States is said to be about $13 billion per year.
Yeah, that generates like a lot of money
Yeah, it does.
out of thin air.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's GDP, right? It's like it's
Exactly.
economy going round.
I mean, that's almost good that they've created more value that
Yeah.
way.
But I
almost.
do think that people take advantage of it too, though. Like that whole deadweight loss thing is like, well, if this person, if on average people would only be willing to pay $50 for a pair of headphones for themselves, then why is it that companies are charging $100 for those headphones when like probably normally people? But again, I don't know. You can get stuff on sale around
Because they
Christmas
know
and
they're,
whatever.
as we said, it's capitalism separate from gift giving that exploits the environment.
Yeah.
In there to create more value. But I think that the real exploitation, like the evil kind of exploitation, is kids getting brainwashed during the holiday season, leading up to the holiday season.
Yeah.
And they like have to have this toy
Yeah.
or something like that.
I also
like
don't-
basically like manipulating people's minds to make them think that they need a particular thing this Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what I think is evil. I don't think it's the creating extra value for yourself like during the holidays.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody's right if you're able to lay that trap. I guess you kind of like deserve the money.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about the whole lying to kids about Santa thing. Even like, I think that kids are definitely the biggest victim in Christmas.
Do you think that on that point, do you think it's like Santa is like a good thing for children?